I was talking to some people on Instagram the other day, and someone posted this anonymous rumor, which has not been confirmed, has not been stated either way, that Toy Story 6 is already apparently being considered at Disney and Pixar, which I've not heard a darn thing about Toy Story 6 or anything going past Toy Story 5. Toy Story 5 has always been the thing that's been on the thing that's next for that franchise. Um, and I wanted to talk about this because it just brought up some very interesting thoughts. A lot of people, and these are like, I don't want to disparage anybody, but I have to describe them in this particular way. Sorry, I had to sip my coffee. These are like fans whose identity is wrapped up in one brand or franchise or movie. Like all they talk about, all they post about, all they think about, I shouldn't say think about, but it stands to reason, is Toy Story. That is like what they brand themselves off of on YouTube or on Instagram or everything. Like that is their brand. And there's nothing beyond that. And they just think, I want more of this. I want more of this. More Toy Story. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't care how they make it. I just want more Toy Story. I know because I used to think like that. I used to be that fan that was just obsessed with the brand of the day. Like be it Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Marvel, Toy Story, Pixar, Disney in general. Like in a lot of ways, I used to be a major Disney adult. Now I'm still a fan of those things. I'm a passionate fan of those things. I love those things. I operate in the blockbuster space because I want to make blockbusters one day. That's my goal, my dream. So I have Spider-Man figures on my shelf or a Ghostbusters book on my shelf. But I think over time, over the last several years, I've just come to realize that like there's more to life than that. You know, I've tried to embrace other hobbies outside of obsessing over one brand or one movie. In particular, this podcast, and trying to broaden the topics that we talk about. Because I know we talk a lot about Disney from a business perspective and from an entertainment perspective, but you know, I want to broaden this podcast to more than just talking about Disney and fanboying, because there's more important things going on with our culture, with the entertainment industry, with how politics intersect with all these things, and just other movies. There are other phenomenal, wonderful, beautifully made movies out there that are not made by Disney or by corporations, or that are made to generate box office numbers. I just watched Pride and Prejudice with the Joe Wright movie with Keira Knightley and Rosamund Pike. Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. One of the most gorgeously shot movies I've seen in a long time. That movie was made in 2005. And I mean, I've been on this track for a while now, but it just reminded me of like, I don't know if I would have actually taken the time to sit down and watch this. I watched it with my wife, by the way. I don't know if I would have taken the time to sit down and watch this movie if I didn't have this mindset of like, there is more to life than Disney. There's more to life than these high grossing brands that are just made, that have been, have been abused to just sell toys, sell other movies, sell merchandise, and just cause people to stay obsessed with these things. And again, it's fine to be a fan. It's fine to like these brands and to love these movies and to be invested in these franchises. But I think if it's all, depending on the degree of how you're talking about it, I think if that's all you're talking about, it's all you care about, and you have no other interests outside of that, I hate to be mean, but like these things need to be said to a certain degree. It almost can be considered like a some level of like immaturity as an adult, that you can't move past those things, that you can't embrace other things. Like, do you work out? Sorry, my headphones. Do you work out? Do you have interests outside of those brands? Are you making art content? You know, if you like stories and storytelling, are you operating in that world outside of the stories that inspire you? Are you trying to make your own stories? Are you trying to do a podcast? Are you trying to do you have a job that is not outside of that also gives you fulfillment and meaning? Are you in a band? Or, you know, there's all these different hobbies and interests that can be fulfilling in more ways than just the hobby of being obsessed with a brand, with a franchise, with something like Toy Story. And I think more people need to embrace that, because I see a lot of that. And again, I used to be like that. So I'm not trying to say I'm holier than thou. I used to do that. I'm very guilty of that. If you look back at some of my very old YouTube videos, you can see that in me. I was about as big of a Disney adult as anybody. Maybe not as much as the people who have like shelves upon shelves of action figures and toys and all that. But I think that again, looking from the outside in, these are things that people need to be able to get over. It's fine to be a fan, but if you are obsessing over this and that's all you talk about, this all you care about, you have no other hobbies, no other interests, you need to think about that and how you are living your life, because there's so much more in this world than one thing, one brand, one movie, one franchise. Anyways, I just, and a lot of the point of this whole conversation, a lot of fans were saying, "Oh, I'd love to see Toy Story 6. It'd be great to see Toy Story 6." Like, we haven't even seen Toy Story 5. What are you talking about? What if Toy Story 5 is a perfect ending, which I think it should be? I've always been saying they need to end it. I love what we got Toy Story 4. But this franchise, this series, gotta stop using the word franchise. I don't like the word franchise. This series is too good, is too beloved to, in my opinion, risk the reputation it has. I don't want to see 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of Toy Story. I want to see it have a definitive end, like The Godfather, like the well, I don't know. A lot of stories are still continuing these days with bad reboots and sequels. So I want to see a definitive end. I want to see something end and just that be the way it is, and we get to enjoy it. We get to go back to those movies and just enjoy them. I don't want to see Toy Story 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, let alone Toy Story 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 without Tom Hanks or Tim Allen. There are also comments of people talking about wanting to, if Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are too old to play Woody and Buzz, let's just get AI. We just get AI to recreate the voices. Why would you want to see that? You're telling me you would gladly watch a Toy Story 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, knowing that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are not voicing the characters, that they're too old to voice those characters? Absolutely not. Look, AI is a great tool. It's very useful and effective. Technology is developing, and it can help certain things. It's a great tool. But you're talking about replacing a performance. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Now, with the exception of something like The Mandalorian with Luke Skywalker returning, that's in collaboration with Mark Hamill. He is contributing his likeness, his voice, to help them make a younger version of him. And as long as he is involved, I think there's no problem with that. Now, when you get into something like Carrie Fisher, who has passed away, bringing her back into the fold, or Grand Moff Tarkin, as they did in Rogue One, that's a little more fishy. Because yes, you're bringing back a character, not the person, but still the person behind the character is what you're bringing back. So it's very dicey. I don't know if I've sort of flip-flopped on this, but I don't think I'm comfortable with them bringing somebody back from the dead to play a character. Now, if you're bringing back someone who is alive and is contributing their voice, their likeness to make them look younger, like Mark Hamill or Han Solo, Harrison Ford, or in the Marvel movies with Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But once those actors pass, then we're in some dicey water, and I don't think that is the way we go. So I do not want to see them, even if Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are just too old, they don't want to voice the characters anymore. Even if if it's not that they're not dead, they're just not wanting to voice the characters, are too old, they're retired. I don't want to see that. I really don't. So I wasn't expecting to go on this full rant about maturity and Disney adulting or whatever. I guess I'm a little more passionate about it than I thought, but it's only because I've been down that road, and I know how that can affect people and their development to embrace other things in life than just one particular brand. And again, I feel like I need to stress this. It's okay to be a fan. It's okay to love Disney. It's okay to love Toy Story. It's okay to love Marvel, Ghostbusters, Star Wars. I still love these brands. I'm a passionate fan of these things. But people need to have a life outside of these things, because it's not all there is to life. There are other movies, other hobbies, other interests. God created this amazing, beautiful, wonderful, expansive world. And he does not call us to fixate on one thing or idolize one thing. He calls us to embrace the good, true, and the beautiful of everything. And so I think people who find themselves in that particular situation as a Disney adult, or just as a very passionate fan who only cares about one particular thing, needs to look at themselves and think, could I afford to broaden my horizons? Can I look beyond what I love and see other things that are out there? I know, because I used to be in that boat. And I can happily say, still being a fan of those brands, there are definitely other things out there that are beautiful, wonderful, fantastic to discuss. I hope to discuss more of those movies on this podcast, and more than just movies. I've developed a lot of different interests and hobbies outside of movies, and they're exciting, they're cool, they're fun. So it's worth a shot. Check it out.